Is the time. The NHL regular season for the Colorado Avalanche starts now in the 25th meeting of all time with the Vegas Golden Knights, a meeting in which the Avs hold a 14-win to 11-win advantage over those Knights. What happens tonight? Lots of questions, lots of answers. The pregame show with Ian and I starts right now. Welcome inside the Toyota Lounge, brought to you by your Front Range Toyota dealers. Thanks for jumping in the Toyota chat. We already see you there, too. And it's Biggie and Gizmo coming to you from the DNVR bar on Colfax, where she's filling up down there, too. We've got giveaways. We've got drink specials, amazing food. So come on down after you watch the pregame show, or even if you're here, come on up and say hello. We're happy to have you. It is the watch party happening downstairs, the pregame show now, and the watch-along coming up in just a bit. Buddy, it's go time. Season 45. For the Colorado Avalanche, 29 since they've been in Denver.
Yeah, it goes by. Can you believe it? Makes me look old. It makes me sound old.
29 years in Denver, bud.
I'm trending on Twitter today, with my bartending skills.
You were good.
Some have compared me to Tom Cruise.
You were good.
Cocktails. Whatever. I'll go with it. It's. I think it's a compliment.
Yeah.
But to get back to your question, yeah, it's exciting. It's first game of the season. Should be an awesome year. Lots of storylines. Looking forward to it. Fun night tonight for sure.
Rudo, he is on the IR right now. A little under the weather still, fighting off a little of that Rona. But he's doing well. We're talking to him. He's going to be hanging out in the chat. We miss you, buddy. Not the same kicking it off without you, but we know you'll be back in a chair real quick. Lot to talk about here in this pregame show before we get to a late start game. By the way, that puck drop probably not happening until around 8:22. Just so you know, it's a national game, so TNT sometimes runs a little bit over. But let's talk about the situation you've got at hand here. Obviously, different roster. There's going to be some nerves out there. Yep. The young guys getting their first crack. There's always some emotion behind that. And the Vegas team that they're facing, it's a different look Vegas team. 8 guys off of that former roster now gone. Yep. No Marcia Show. No Stevenson. Carlson's on the IR. It's a completely different Vegas team than what we might have been used to in the past.
It is, but I'll tell you one thing, it's the same mentality a little bit as the Avalanche. What do I mean by that? Win or bust at all costs, right? I mean, I don't care what people say. I don't care what people say about Vegas. We're not here to talk about the cap shenanigans and all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, they're there to win. They want to be the last team standing. Avalanche were, when you think about it, 3 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. Vegas was 2 years ago. If you look at their season last year, just like the Avalanche, they fell short. Therefore, for them, it's a disappointment. Just like the Avalanche, it's a disappointment. They want to be there. They want to be the Florida Panthers holding that silver gray thing trophy at the end of the year. It didn't happen, so that's why I see the similarities between the two of them. Lots of big names on both sides, but you're right. Vegas Golden Knights are not the same hockey team that they were, I'm talking about on the roster, as they were the last few seasons. We'll see how that shakes up, but there's certainly a lot of new names on that roster.
3 times they met last year, 3 times they will meet this year. 2 victories for the Vegas Golden Knights last year. Let's take a quick look at the schedule ahead just so you know how many more times you'll see them. They will make a trip here, obviously, November 27th, and then again on April 8th. This is the only trip to Sin City currently for the Colorado Avalanche. Oh, it's fine. I mean, listen, this is one of those teams where people want to sort of create a rivalry, but I don't really see... I don't see a rivalry budding just yet between these two clubs.
Well, there was that playoff series a few years back, right? Was it the year before the Avalanche won?
Yep.
It was more that series where they kind of like the Panthers, right? When they learned to be defeated before being victorious. And that's a series against the Avalanche where the Avalanche learned a lot about themselves, a lot of disappointment, a lot of frustration. But you're right. I mean, to say that it's a big rivalry like the Avs and Red Wings back then, I'd be telling you that we're making this up a little bit. We're pushing the envelope a little bit. It's not the same thing. Nonetheless, two great fan bases. If you've never been to a game in Vegas, I'll tell you one thing. It's a great place. It's a great atmosphere, probably one of the best atmospheres in the National Hockey League. So, you know what? A little too late because this is the last time they're there tonight for the if you're an Avs fan. But if you happen to be in Vegas and the Golden Knights are playing another team other than the Avs, then you know what? By all means, go there. It's awesome. A great spot. Great spot. Great game ops. They do a great job. It's a great show. And I tell you one thing, you walk out of there, you're so excited, and you know you just want to hit the casinos and do more stuff. And you know it's just so full of electricity in that building. It's fun. Should be a fun night tonight.
We managed to stay out of trouble when we were partners there for 2 years.
Yes.
No jail time.
Nope.
No gambling addiction. Yeah, we came out of it pretty clean, I think.
We're fine.
Let's talk a little bit about the other factors of this game today. 3 big debuts for guys: Covey, Ivan, and of course Cal Ritchie. Think back to your first NHL game. What's going through their minds right now in the locker room as they're doing those final checks? He's sitting in his stall. He's staring at his skates a little bit. Mom and dad are in the stands.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you one thing, pretty surreal.
Yeah.
I always say it's like a wedding, so to speak, in a sense that you've been working your whole life at that and looking forward to it. Then you don't really get to, I don't know what it is, but you don't enjoy it because you don't savor it because you're too excited. But if I would go back, I would tell myself, like, you know what, enjoy every moment, breathe, soak it all in. You know, look, you're getting dressed in the locker room against, you know, next to McKinnon and McCarr, and then you're going on the ice against Eichel and Stone. Those are all guys that those young guys have always watched. Sounds like Cal Ritchie's parents are in the stands, which is always usually the case. Ivan, I don't think they got there in time. They're probably going to be here on the homestand, but and I think Covey obviously played his first game in the playoffs last year, so technically it's his first regular season game. So kind of fun. 3 guys right there that you know should bring some new blood in the lineup, some fresh injection.
Nathan McKinnon coming off of a sensational season, 140 points, reigning Hart Trophy. He's 1 point away from 900 career points, which would make him the 4th in franchise history to get to that mark. Does he pop that in tonight? Last year, he only had 2 points against Vegas, and they were both assists.
You know
get
what?
one? Well, I hope so for our betting purposes.
Yeah, for betting purposes. We'll get to that a little later. 365, you know, but
today.
Yeah, I think he does. I think he was so. You know what the thing was last year with him, and we always talk about this on our pod about young players achieving consistency. You know what? Obviously, it took him a few years, but he's took consistency to another level. You know what I mean? If you look at his season last year, I mean, it's absurd how consistent he was with his point production, which is the toughest thing to do in the National Hockey League, right? Is to put points on the board. So, boy, oh boy, yeah, I do expect a big night from him tonight, so I would say yes. And, you know, obviously he's the catalyst for the Avalanche. So, as he goes, the team goes. So, let's make it happen. They're big Nate Dogg tonight.
All right, well, let's take a look at you and me's Hockey in the Rockies, a new segment that we're going to be doing pretty much on the regular, where we just get to catch up a little bit about thoughts before the game. This is what Big E had to say today. All right, it's Gizmo and Big E for Hockey in the Rockies, day 1 of the regular season for the Colorado Avalanche. They're in Vegas. We're at the DNVR bar in Colfax, where we're going to be all day long, all night long, because we got a watch party, so we can't wait to see you here. We'll talk about that in a second. What are you expecting tonight? What is the level that needs to happen? What is the pace that we expect out of these guys to start the season?
You know what? Opening night, I'll tell you what I love. Mm-hmm. Last couple of years, a lot of people, the pundits, the experts, all picked the Avalanche to maybe be Stanley Cup champions.
Sure.
I looked yesterday. I got to be honest with you. I didn't see one of them from all the pundits. And they're all picking Edmonton, maybe Dallas. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I love the fact that they are underdogs this year, somehow. I feel good about this season. That's my feeling, in the sense that it's going to be hard a little bit at the start, but they're going to be more than just fine.
And you talked about it. You and I have been chatting about it the last few days. It's about breaking the season down in segments, right? And that starts tonight.
Yeah, I talk about 10-game segments all the time. It is so important for me. That's the way I was as a player, in management. I'm changing my tune here this year. I'm going 5-game segments.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. It's so important right now for them to just weather the storm the first month of the season, first 8 weeks, until we see all the clarity with the uncertainties in Val and Gabe and obviously Lehkonen now. So put that guy in the first 2 segments.
Sure.
So instead of 10, I'm going to be harping all the time on our pods on the 5-game segments. Go 3 and 2, you're going to be fine. 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 2 gives you about a 100-point pace. Should bring you to that 8-week mark and go from there.
Real quickly, specifically on tonight, we know there's holes in the lineup offensively for the Colorado Avalanche. Truthfully, tired of talking about that. These guys are going to step up. They're going to be just fine. Let's look at the other side for this Vegas team. Strong D-core, decent goaltending. Their offense isn't necessarily mind-blowing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Stone looks like he's going to be there. Eichel, I'm a fan of. I'll tell you what's going to be missing for the Vegas Golden Knights. That's been a staple since day one. Jonathan Marchessault.
Yes.
I think that's going to be a big piece missing for them. Hopefully they feel it more than ever tonight against the Avalanche.
Puck drop is at around 8-22 tonight. Some pomp and circumstance. That game on national television. TNT has it in the second half of a doubleheader for them. Come to the DNVR bar and check it out. We're going to be hanging around the entire time. We have got, of course, the pregame show, which will start at around 7:30-ish. Puck drop will be around 8:22. Tune in for that. We'll have the watch-along, watch party going on here. We'll come down and say hello. We can't wait to see you tonight at the DNVR bar. Make sure you're following us on all of our socials. That's it for Hockey in the Rockies for game 1 of the season, bud.
Let's go. It's starting.
You ready to go? You look good, by the way.
DNVR.
Hockey in the Rockies, game 1 of the season is tonight. We'll see you at the DNVR bar. All right. You're always looking good, buddy. You got the merch. You're repping the merch.
I got the merch.
I appreciate it. Yeah, no, it's a good
Mitch
thing.
is pumped.
Back with you here on the DNVR Avs pregame show presented by Coors Light. There will be multiple of those consumed this evening, I promise you. Hopefully you're enjoying the cold blue mountains as well. All right, buddy, let's get to your 3 keys for a victory here tonight.
Well, very simple. Number 1, JYD. We're going to hear that a lot. Be a junkyard dog. Get after it as a team. Get after it as an individual, especially the young guys, right? Go eat. Don't wait for the train to come by. Just jump right in it, right? You want to make sure that you're in the train of gold, not the train of butter. You know what I mean? Let's just get right after it. Number 2, very simple. Avalanche Hockey 101. What is that? Very simple, right? Quick outs. Defend with a purpose. Attack with speed. We all know speed kills. And, again, tie in number 1 and number 2 together. You got to get some good hockey there. And then, obviously, join the rush. Join the rush. We always hear Bednar talk about this, preaching that. Number 3, we never usually use it as a key. Solid goaltending. And I'll tell you what, I think it's very important for Georgiev to get off to the right start to this season. I think it's very important that he's the best penalty killer for the Avalanche. Name me a good PK, I'll name you a good goalie. It goes hand in hand. Let's make sure he calms the waters down when he's out there. Let's make sure that he is just the calming factor on the back end. Want to make sure that he's playing on emotions, but controlled emotions. We don't want him going off the rail like we saw a little bit last year. So control emotions for him. Key factor for the Avalanche tonight.
The Avalanche have historically been very good in their openers, whether it's at Ball Arena or on the road. We're going to pull up some stats for you here. All time, 26, 11, and 7. That's 0.670 points percentage. Enters tonight as the 3rd best in NHL history in a minimum of 5 games played, so we're not necessarily counting a few teams. 2nd is Vegas. 1st is Tampa Bay. It's incredible what these guys can do in the open. What do you attribute that to? Is it the style? Is it the motivation of the team? Is it the mentality of Stanley Cup or bust, and you can't win them all if you don't win the first one?
Well, there's 2 parts to this. I'm not going to put Vegas down, but Vegas, it's only been 8 seasons, right? 7 seasons.
Yeah.
So it's like, to me, Tampa Bay and the Avalanche are the 2 best in the history of the league. So I think it comes down to coaching, and I think if you look at Bednar, I think he's 7-1, right, in his starts. So I think he does a good job in the summer, and I heard him talk about that the other day when he's like, hey, you get so gung-ho in training camp, talk about it, see in the summer, then all of a sudden you're like, you know what, let's put this away. Let me go in the woods for a week or 2 and then come back and then attack it again and make sure that He touches on everything he wants to do to make sure the team is ready to go. And I think that if you looked at the first 3 days of camp there 10 days ago, it was all about 5-on-5 situation. It was all about teaching, learning, and obviously for the new guys, but refreshing course for the veteran players that have been back. So I think it's important to start on the right foot. I attribute that to good coaching. And I think over the years, the Avalanche have always had good coaches, whether it was Crawford, Hartley, or, the list goes on. Bednar certainly and his staff at the top of the list there, and I think that's why you see a very important first game all the time.
I like Bednar a lot, and we're going to talk about him here for a minute because he's the kind of coach that this kind of group needs. It's a good mix of veterans that have that core, but you've got these young guys that need a little bit more of the arm around the shoulder, the pat on the back, a little bit of that placating to a little bit, the sensitivities of the young these days. But Coach Bednar is a quote machine, and he had this to say, and I'll quote him verbatim here: "We expect to win. Our offense has to take a step now. We have been concentrating a lot on the defensive details. We have to get harder in some areas going into the regular season, and I expect our guys will do that." The practices leading up to the start of the season have reflected that. They've been 5-on-5. They've been battle drills. They've been 3-on-2 down lows. He's trying to inspire a little bit of spunk.
Yeah, and like you said, he's a very well thought of coach. This morning, you and me listened to it. I suggest to anybody, viewers out there, Tuesday morning, our friends at Altitude Radio, you can listen.
Yeah, the guys, Vic.
He does. He goes on for 15 minutes in the morning. If you're in your car, listen to him. He's always got the weekly show with the guys, and he touched on a lot of things this morning, especially about injecting some new blood in the lineup, right? We just talked about that. Ivan tonight, Richie, Kovalenko. It's very important that the leaders lead by example, and that's what you saw in the first 3-4 days of camp, where all of a sudden they're talking about all the things that the Avalanche want you to play at a certain level.
Right.
The leaders have done a good job of that. Now the new blood, which is very important, new fresh legs. Get in there, learn from the veterans, do it right. Do it on the fly, because there's not a lot of time for teaching. When you're winning, you're trying to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
There's no time for teaching. They will do that in between games. You heard him talk about it this morning about Kyle Ritchie. They will sit down with him between games. They will sit down with him, taking a look at his game. But as far as the team goes, the Avalanche want to get back and tighten up a little bit like they used to be a couple years ago, where in the front area of the net, where deflections, retrieving pucks quickly, they want to be better at that, and then defending against the rush. This is something that they've addressed over the summer. They want to make sure that these first few games of the season, they tighten that up. And I think you're going to see that tonight, and hopefully it goes their way.
Who scores the first goal of the season for the Colorado Avalanche?
I'm going with my guy, my French, whatever you call that.
You're the Canadian. You're the Frenchman.
Compatriote. Mon compatriote.
Les chicken cordon bleu.
Yeah.
Luc Robitaille.
Luc Robitaille. I'm going to go with Joe Druin. You know what? I'm excited. I knew you were going to say that. I stole that from you. I apologize.
I'm going to pick a wild
I'm going to
one.
go with first goal of the season, Joe Druin. You know what? It's a great story. Read about it if you're not familiar with his story, but it's pretty outstanding, and I expect a big season from him.
I'm going Gorgiev first goal of the year. Send one
that would
from
be
no, that will never happen.
Can you imagine that?
Could not, won't not.
That would be like almost
take
fake
that
if
bet.
you take that bet.
No
it's
chance.
Like almost like it'd be fake.
Lobs one down over everybody.
No. Like he's the last guy to touch it on the
Hill,
delayed call, and there's no goalie. Whatever, it happens, right? So
lots of you in the Twitter chat. Kovalenko, that's a good one. I got a feeling it's going to be probably like, it's going to be a Rance or a Mac. I don't know. I got a gut feeling about a guy.
Who?
I got a gut feeling.
Oh.
I think Cal Ritchie gets it.
All right. That's fair.
I think Cal Ritchie gets it.
I think, you know what? I don't mind the Kovalenko answer. He's going to have crazy legs going tonight. This guy's going to be flying. He loves the intensity of those games. He loves the moment. And you know what? They're all good picks. At the end of the day, scoring a goal in the National Hockey League is a great feeling. I'll tell you one thing. It's not an easy thing to do, but whoever gets it should put the Avalanche, hopefully, right frame of mind for the game there.
Kale McCarr. Rudo says McCarr. That's a good pick.
All right, Rudo.
That's a good pick, Rudo.
Boo! Easy pick.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Rudo.
Going off. Parker Kelly's another good call.
All right.
That'll
Crash
rose
and
him on. I
bang.
like that a lot, actually. He
Parker,
looks good.
Yeah, Parker Kelly's
I like
one of
Parker
those
Kelly.
JYDs that we're talking about. Junkyard Dog.
We don't
This
talk
guy's
much.
on
We
it.
didn't talk enough about Parker Kelly. We'll do that
Yeah.
during the game and for sure in the post game. I think he's going to play well. All right, well, let's. This is a fun one now. We got a little wild today with the betting. A little wild with the betting today. Let's take a look at our pregame picks presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary with Bet365. I have not been allowed to bet for like 9 years. And I'm like a little kid with a G.I. Joe on Christmas right now with this app. And like it asks me to log in more times than it probably should. I think it's like, are you okay? Let's talk a little bit about what we picked today. We got 3, but actually we did like 4 of them. First one is the same game parlay. So I got Rance, 2 points. McDavid, 2 points in Edmonton versus Winnipeg. And then I got JT Miller picking up 2 points in the Calgary versus Vancouver game. And we got that at plus 1,059.
Well, I like that. I jumped in on that one. I can't lie and tell you that. I was quiet. I wasn't quiet. I was all over that one.
The second one we got is Shakespeare at Work. And this is our boy Jonathan Drouin as an anytime goal scorer. And we got him at plus 320. I mean, this goes along with what you just said.
Well, I'm kind of hoping, I was all over that bet too. So let's make sure that Joe Drouin is the first guy on the score sheet. On to an outstanding season. Best of luck to my Frenchman, Jonathan Drouin, there on this bet and on our bet to put a little bit of money in our pocket.
All right, we differed on this a smidge, and that's why we gave you sort of 2 options. The Moose is loose. Mikko Rantanen has been lights out. In his last 2 first games of the season, he's gotten 4+ points. So you could take that line. I did. So I took 4 points for Rantanen tonight at plus 1,000. But perhaps the smarter bet is Rance with 3 points at plus 350. Did you take the 350 one? Did you take the 3 points or the 4?
Yeah, I got scared. I went with the 3 points. 4 is a massive task. But then again, like we're talking about, he is the Moose, so he likes big projects and likes what he did the last 2 openers. Why wouldn't he do it again? I don't know, because I think it's a daunting bet, but I went for the 3 points. Even 3 points in a night, it's outstanding. So I'm sticking to 3 points. That's the one I took. But if you take 4, you wouldn't be very stupid or whatever you want to call that, because he's done it the last 2 years.
Don't we have a drink here at the bar that's like the Moose or something? It's a Rantanen-inspired cocktail.
Is it?
Adam, is that a thing? I don't know. I think we do. I'll get... You know what? And if we do, I'll order it just so I can confidently tell you how tasty it is. In fact, I'll sample most of them for you and give you a thorough report back. We also got one extra one for you here. A DNVR special boost, courtesy of our good friends at Bet365. I like this one a lot. I would say that you're inclined to take a strong look at this. It's plus 250. It's over on the goal. So we're saying over 6.5 goals tonight. We kind of think it's a 4-3 game, but you seem to think it might be even crazier. And then you parlay that over on the goals with a McKinnon anytime goal scorer.
Well, hopefully Bednar and his staff are not listening tonight, because we all know they listen to everything before the game.
Right before this game,
They do.
they've got us on in the room right now.
They do.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Good luck out there tonight, boys. Everything you got, okay?
It's a known fact.
We're pulling for you.
But then again, hoping they're not listening, because I do believe it might be a slippery one at the start of the year like this. Maybe I'm feeling a 6-5, 5-4, 4-3 game.
Jeez, I'm gonna hit my Moose's loose bet.
So I would take the over. I'm taking that one, and then McKinnon goal. Why not? I mean, the guy's been on fire. So I would take that one for plus 250. So I did take that one, and I'm giving my cards a little bit right now. How do I think this game's gonna go? I could be wrong, but I just have a feeling it could be a high scoring game.
Right now, new customers can choose between 2 offers when they open an account at Bet365. Use code DNVR365 to sign up, deposit $10, and choose between 2 of these great offers. This is what got me hooked in a good way. Place a bet of $5 or more and get $200 in bonus bets. Also, first bet safety net. This one's cool. If you place a bet of up to $1,000, and if your qualifying bet loses, you receive a matched refund in bonus bets. So if you're feeling like tossing some cash around, toss some cash around. Make sure you are 21 plus and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. You or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help. Write this one down for me there, bud. Text or call 1-800-GAMBLER today. Have fun with it. You don't have to bet a lot of money to have fun. It just makes it cool to put a little bit of something on it. We got some good ones in there tonight. We'll see how it plays out. I'm just excited for hockey season to be back, buddy. I mean, it's been a long off season. I mean, I played a ton of golf, which is great. But it's nice to be back, ready to go for some hockey.
It's exciting, especially when you live in the West, like right here. Mm-hmm. Last few hours, you've been watching those games in the East Coast, which is nice, and it's so fun. And again, come down to the DNVR bar. Chef Rob will cook you some great food, and always fun to be here. It's always fun. The atmosphere is great, whether it's a Nuggets game, Avalanche game, Rapids game, whatever you want to call it. All those games are kind of fun. I'm looking forward to a great season. And again, I'm going to reiterate a little bit what I talked about on hockey and the Rockies there. Like, I do believe it's a big first quarter for the Avalanche. Those first 20 games are massive. Yes, it's a little different outlook than what it is usually.
Yeah.
You know, with the uncertainties of Natucci and Landeskog and even Lehkonen for the first month there. I do believe they got to simplify the game. They got to break it down. But it does give opportunities. Like we said, I think that's the theme of this pregame today is new blood, new faces, and get after it. Get in there. Don't just wait. Just make a statement. If you're Cal Ritchie, it's not about like, I have 9 games. I don't want to hear about the 9 games. And I think Bednar talked about it. How long is he going to be on those 9 games, or is he going to be here for 9 games? Oh, time will tell. The way his play will dictate how long he stays here and in what capacity. But at the end of the day, you can't wait. You just got to go after it. Hence that line tonight, the JYD Junkyard Dog. I don't care if you're McKinnon, Parker Kelly, a middle 6 guy. You got to get after it. You have to have that mentality and just go and be a junkyard dog.
When you look at the schedule for these guys real quick, and by the way, DNVR bar starting to pop off. So if you're not here yet, come on down. You can come up here and hang out with us. I like an audience. I like company. I'm friendly. I'm a hugger. Come on, you're good. Let's have some fun. You got Vegas, you got 2 days off, then you got Columbus at home. You can kind of check that as possibly a win. Then you got the Islanders at home, that's a 50-50. Boston, they gave up 6 the other day and got $8 million sitting on the bench, so don't know about that one. Then they got Anaheim at home, win.
Uh-oh.
In San Jose, win. Against Seattle in Seattle, win.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've got a decent schedule here, and then you got Ottawa, Chicago, Tampa Bay at the end of the month.
Yeah, like Rudo says, you can only play the game that's in front of you, and at the end of the day, you have to go out there and make it happen. I think it's always important to start on the right foot on the road. This one happens to be just a 1-game road trip, so I don't care what it is. It's still a game on the road. Yeah. Therefore, you want to start on the right foot, and then you worry about Saturday at home. Make a little bit of string victories at home. Very important to start on the right foot at home. So they have the opportunity tonight and Saturday to start on the right foot at home. On the road and at home. So get after it, get it done, and feel good about your game.
Okay, what is the biggest thing that you expect to see? You talked about breaking these games down into 5-game chunks. What's the most important thing that's going to happen in the first 10 minutes of this hockey game tonight?
I think they got to make sure that they weather the storm. Vegas always does an unbelievable job, as you and I know, on opening nights and the atmosphere in that building. They're going to be coming out, like I said, they were disappointed with the ending last year. They're going to be coming out flying. Same thing. Just match the intensity, weather the storm the first 5 to 10 minutes. Very important that you don't just chase the game. Dictate the pace of the game, but also be patient, be normal. You don't win the game in the first 10 minutes. Sometimes you do, but you know what I'm saying? There's plenty of time left, and I think you just make sure you play simple. You make the simple play if you're a defenseman, if you're a forward, no turnovers, simple hockey. Let the game dictate, how the outcome's going to be. Pursuit excellence. You're going to be all right.
All right, well, there you have it. It's about time we get going because it is puck drop time on the 24-25 NHL season for the Colorado Avalanche, the 45th in their history, the 29th here in the beautiful state of Colorado and the Denver Metro. We're looking forward to it. We'll have a watch along with you. Come on down to the bar, hang out, have fun. Feel free to come upstairs and chill with us in the studio while we watch along with you. We're going to bring in some special guests. I got some friends here tonight. They're going to disagree with it, but they're coming on the show. You guys are coming on at some point, so you're making appearances. Got my Cherry Creek family with me. They're coming on. They're coming on. We're doing it. We're going to do this thing, and we're going to do that all year long. Thank you for being with us here on the pregame show presented by Coors Light. Get those bets in. Thanks again to our friends at Bet365. We're going to enjoy this one, and it is go time. The game is on TNT. It's probably not going to start till around 8:22. That's about the time. We'll be back with you. Thanks for tuning in for the pregame show. Biggie and Gizmo and friends. Let's have some fun. It's puck drop time.
We all silly like the mayor.